streak there at the big one over Dallas Baptist and continued on Saturday with the conference one over the Javelinas. Kind of just take us through the weekend.
Well, yeah, I think back to what I told you guys last week, and we just had a different approach with the girls, and it didn't hit me until after the Kingsville match. One of the coaches at Kingsville was like, "You guys are a different beast at home," and so it goes back to like all the teams for this year were like Jekyll and Hyde. Most teams are doing abnormally well at home and then struggle on the road. So you have that, you have a different approach, and you have some girls that just glad to hear that the losing can get to you. So it was just neat to see that they had a really good response. So it's just a fun weekend just because I think it showed some really positives on some character. So it was fun.
Don't you have UTB on Tuesday? Any different shades to the routine there knowing you're playing an earlier matchup?
Yeah, so we have Permian, and then we have Texas Women's and Commerce Friday and Saturday at home. And so Permian's good. And I remember this a couple years ago, some football coaches were saying Eastern was always tough. I don't know what the new coach does, but is he the one that does the triple option?
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, same guy, same system.
Yeah, and so what they told me was they said, if let's say 4 teams did the triple option, you could stop them. But they said the problem is you're planning for that one system for one time for the year, and so your players can get caught off guard because they don't get to catch that pattern or train for that pattern in any other game. Permian's is sort of the same way in the sense of Permian sits there and he is great. Him and Eastern are great at just being comfortable, being uncomfortable. So they just know how their players are a little bit more. They just let the game flow, and so when it gets sort of out of hand, other teams get frantic, and then they thrive off that. So we're going to their place. They put Kingsville in 5. They lost to Kingsville in 5, but again, it's their place, and so we got to get over the demon of just playing out of our gym and comfort zone, and that goes back to what I mentioned last week about the youth. But Permian's also other thing is that they just do it differently, and so you got to get used to that one anomaly. And then get back to more of a traditional style with Commerce and Women's.
What can you do to get them over the hump of playing in a different gym?
Today, we're going to actually approach that, and today I'm going to be a little bit more of an antagonist, and so they have to learn how to. Today, like I'm purposely going to be out there and sort of an antagonist in the sense of not letting them feel comfortable in their own gym, and just so they get a taste on how to respond to that. Because it's becoming more and more clear that that's the biggest thing. But just after this weekend and seeing how you could see it all tying in what we've worked on and clicking. What I'm hoping to find is today a little bit more buy-in, and I think that'll go a long way. So the message we learned after this weekend talking with the girls is we have to make sure we encourage them to be aggressors and not so passive. So we also need to start boosting them up and letting them. It's a mind game with these girls right now. So the more that we help them feel like they're on the offensive, I think that'll fix a lot of our lows.
Commerce and Texas Women's this weekend, what challenges do they present?
So Women's has got some athletes, and they're buying in to what he's selling, and they're just scrappy. They're actually doing what every coach wants. Commerce, they're like Tarleton and like Angelo and like Kingsville. They're senior laden, and that's a monster that we just can't overcome. So they're going to have the experience and understand. And the point of that is on Kingsville we're up 2-0, and then we looked horrible in set 3, and that's the difference between youth and experience. They got happy and they don't understand how to finish it out. And Commerce isn't. If we give Commerce that kind of, foot in the door, it could change things fast. So we got to this weekend is about youth overcoming experience.